So, yeah, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Odyssey Ascension Sunday night with Roxanne. If you are now tuning in, can you please say hello to me in the chat? There we go. Hi, Deb. And just let me know how the sound is, a thumbs up or something. Again, I'm having problems with my Zoom. I can't stream through my Zoom, which I usually do, so I couldn't really set it up. So I have to do this way, and it's a little bit different, so I'm not real sure on how it sounds or how to check for that. So if we got good sound, give me a thumbs up. And how's it look, Tommy?
Okay. Yes, live.
It's good to go?
Yeah.
Can hear me at all? My funny little honey Tommy was checking me out. So I'll just give a couple people. There we go. We got some more people in the room. So we can just count on every Sunday at 7 p.m. until I get an answer back from Zoom on why I can't go live with them using them as my streaming platform. Thank you, Sandra. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Sandra. X-Love. Hello. And of course, Debbie. Thank you all for coming in tonight. We will take questions if anyone wants to ask a question and put it in the chat. You can do so. Of course, I have some ideas first that we're going to talk about, and usually I talk about. Hi, Roxanne. I came out the other side. Hope you are well. I'm doing great, Hazel. Congratulations. I'm going to do a channeling. Usually on Sundays, sometimes I channel. Sometimes we answer questions. But tonight I'm going to channel. I know I'm going to channel. I think there's something happening in my life, and I think I'll give you the background. So, when I got into my writing, and I was teaching, I had my ego classes, and I had some other stuff, and advanced classes, and those are kind of a very private class for people that have done the work and that done their ego classes, so we can move beyond humanity. It's very difficult to be in a group when you're not talking about anything human. You're not talking about your problems or your fascinations. The advanced classes and those things going forward leaves humanity behind, and not in the way of abandonment, but abandoning the human self and birthing a new kind of self. So I've been working on that, and during those times of the ego classes, I took many notes and come up with all these ideas and created my Ascension classes, and how you can move yourself through your own enlightenment with these ideas that were tested by many people, all humans, and all with the same belief structures of their own individuality, but each individual world has to enlighten itself, ascend itself. So we did that work, and then you kind of go, well, what's next? What's next? And it came the other day. It came the other day for me. And I thought about my friend who's in the chat. Her name is Debbie. And when I wrote the curriculum on the Ascension schools, recognition, transcendence, vibrational tactician, and persona development, and she read the curriculum for each class in the workbook, and she paid me an enormous compliment. And she goes, "This is the closest thing I have ever seen to the mystery schools of old." And if you don't know what the mystery schools, look them up. And that was a really good compliment. But, there's 12 mystery schools. And I have 4 classes written. So that's what's next, is the evolution. So I've been getting, kind of like I got the the schools came, one idea came, and then, you know, what we do by nature, we attract. So here comes the intelligence and the wisdom and the entire layout that comes from original thought creation. It comes in attracted in my reality, and I'm the receiver of it, and I take it and do something with it, with the all, if you want to put it that way. So it's not from out there, it's not from over there or somebody else, it's from yourself. So that wisdom was from me, the collective me, one and all, giving me, the individual, the opportunity. And I took it and ran with it, and now it's done it again. So, right. Yeah. Sly's going to come in and talk a little bit about what's next. And I'm going to work on it. You know, I have the ideas. I have a great sounding board, my funny little honey Tommy Jean. And I test these ideas and bring them out and work them out. And we'll see where we go. But I'm going to bring Sylvester in. I appreciate you all tuning in. And if you do, give it a thumbs up and make a comment. Say hello if you like. And again, before or after I get out of channeling, or when Sly's done, we can take some questions. So if you have a question, you can, of course, write it in the chat. And then we'll go from there. So appreciate you all joining me on Sunday night. And here comes Sly. Hello, everyone. How are you? Good. So we want to start with the idea of what's next. Okay? We're natural evolutionists. You guys have a wonderful thing and a tool that you get to use, and it's called time. So you can take your time with evolution. Some of you want things to happen faster. Don't. It all comes. And it'll come in droves when you become more slipped into the now. So what's next? You guys have heard, I'm sure, of ascended masters. And that's the idea, is to ascend yourself. Ascending the self takes care of ascending the species. The species, the human collective, is doing great. You're in a time of immense cavitation, ruffling up the waters, making lots of noise, and everyone's looking at human. You all are looking at each other. And it shows you exactly what you don't want. Tim, great to see you. Roxanne says hi. It shows you what you don't want as a collective. You don't want this behavior any longer. Now, I need you to listen to that word, behavior, because that is absolutely threaded throughout this channeling and pinnacle to understand. Behavior. That's what you're willing to behave as. That's what you're feeding the vortex of creation. That's what you shall reap. That you sow. Okay? So the human species is doing great. You guys are working it out, fighting, screaming, war, emotional maturity of a 5-year-old, maybe 8 tops, most humans. And and then you work it out, and you go to the next and the next. And but we're not interested in humanity, because humanity is going to take care of itself. What about the individual? So Roxanne teaches 4 of the 12 Ascension. They're very, very compact. 4 of the 12 mystery schools, and we're going to call them Ascension schools. We wouldn't be so vain as to take the original name. So these Ascension schools, we've done 4 of them, very compacted. Usually one school, the first school was a year long. But, humanity isn't going to go through 12 years of that unless it's accredited and it costs a whole lot of money, and then you get a piece of paper at the end and maybe a job. So that's not going to happen. We understand that. So we've condensed it. And it's enough information for each individual to recognize themselves, and without any external persuasion, at the end of these classes, you'll have enough fortitude in yourself to go ahead and evolve yourself, enlighten yourself. So when you get to the idea of persona development, you have the tools to get rid of your shit. And then you got to start maturing yourself. Now, this is your God maturity. You're an infant God remembering. So you mature yourself, and it is through behavior you shall do such ideas of maturing. You shall reap the ideas of God when you enact and behave like a God. So there's the next question. What does a God behave like, right? Well, a God is unconditional, but God does have a nature. Each individual has a nature about itself. You guys are so fucking fascinated with all this goddamn shit about fucking healing and past lives and purposes and all of these things you wear and you stick all over. You got this big fucking life sash, and you sew these badges like you're a Boy Scout or a fucking brownie. That's not what Ascension is about. It's not about accumulation. It's about deconstructing and maturing the self. So what that does, it gives you a potential of ascending. And you guys have heard the term, again, to circle back to ascended masters. Well, we've done that. There have been ascended masters on your planet where they have literally, some of them walked in the light and vibrated right out of the frequency, because they understood the relationship with themselves and what they are by nature. Humans aren't gods by nature. Humans are not gods by nature. That's the whole game that we're playing. And the game is to be separated and experience polarity, duality, and just have a good old time doing that, and feeling your fears and creating your hopes, and having just joyous times with the birth of a child and getting married, and then horrible times of a divorce or a death, and just wonderful ideas. And those are the human experiences. But you've all, if you're tuning in and looking at me, you're vibrationally matched to the moment. You're all focused on something other than human. So that's a potential for you. Again, you've pro-tuned yourself to evolve. So you can evolve with this idea of what's next, and what is next after those 4 classes. Well, we can go the ascended master route, which takes usually about 40 years. About 35 to 40 years, probably 38 years. I've never done the average, but the ones I know would be around 38, 40 years of daily work of ascending every single ounce, transcending, even better, every single belief system that is representative, that is not your nature. In other words, it is being energized as a structure through the belief system of the nature of the human, or the fractal that was birthed here. And when you take them all down, there's nothing that keeps you from you or your realization. But we also have another idea that we came up with. So that is where we're going to go. What's next? There's a species that is going to be birthed on your planet, and you've all heard it before, and you'll hear it again. We have two species, but the one that is closer is called Homo dominicus. So it's a Homo sapien, but the relationship to itself is divine. So it doesn't choose to ascend the idea. What it does choose is to explore being a fully understood God, but still creating the experience of a human and creating, therefore, since the relationship is totally different, a new species called Homo dominicus. Now, you also have the other one, of course, is Homo galacticus, but that's the ascended human species sometime in 2,000-3,000 years, depending on what timeline you're playing with. So we want to show you what's next. Think to yourself, what does God do and what does God not do? Remember, it's never the action. It's always the relationship, the behavior, the intent, and the will. What does it filled with? What is that little action filled with? What is the vibration that fills it? That's what you have to see. You're welcome, Hazel. I'll let Roxy know. So you have to look at what that is. So if you can change the relationship within yourself. So here's what gods aren't, from my take. And I've never met a God like this unless they're incarnating. But we're talking about the nature. So the divinity of you by nature, the unconditional. Gods, let's just break it down like this. Gods never want. We never need. We never desire. We never intend. We never hope. We never suffer. We don't do those things by nature. We create. We create through an incarnation those relationships. We create those relationships. Hello, Julie. So, if you are vigilant in your observations that we've taught in this channeling, in this YouTube channel with this immense amount of information, you have understood we have created the observer, and the observer can look at the actions with its own intelligence. Now, remember when I said it takes about 40 years. So it's going to take you a good year to even recognize your ego. You can recognize it in bits and pieces, but most of the time you won't recognize it. You'll feel it's naturally you. So that structure has to be depleted in order for the divinity to shine. And that divine self has a template of nature that it doesn't intend to do something with. That's the thoughts of human becoming. Intention is to become. Gods have never become. We already are. What we do by nature is create. We don't intend to become an idea. It takes time. By nature, we are here and now. When we're human, we have time, so we can intend to go from point A to point B. I'm going to intend this outcome. I take the actions between the 2 points of time, and those actions lead me toward my outcome that I intended on the original idea, goals, achievements, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's human. It's time. It's great. We're not talking about human. We're talking about homo dominicus. We're talking about creating a new species. And we have been working with Roxy for this for years. And we're close now. We're close to able to write the curriculum for the next 4 schools. And we're going to start writing those with Roxy as she behaves this way, as she becomes more intelligent in these truths that we give her. Those truths, and we means all that fucking is. It's not just me. It's all that is. We give her that information. She takes it and lives it and owns it and makes it her own. Therefore, when she understands it through the experience, through the ownership, through the vibrational embodiment of it, then of course she can teach it. And that's what we're working on. So that's what's next. We're going to be working on what gods don't do with Roxy by nature. Therefore, she can understand and see, observe more of her fractal self, not God's self, in those behaviors. And it's working very well. And she understands where there's things that if she gives up, she might be embarrassed about or she might miss. But those are all human attributes. And you can't have an ounce of human left if you want to be a Dominicus, let alone an ascended master. Those experiences are within you, but they are known, so therefore they will not be expressed as any behavior, creating and attracting those relationships because they're already known. Once you know it, you don't do it anymore. We never repeat. Change is the only constant. Change is the only constant. If there's any questions, write them in the chat. I'm going to read something here. I don't have a lot of money, but I'm going to at least donate $3 a month to your channel. I'm not ready for your cast, but looking forward to it. I'm taking good. Take whatever you want. Keep rocking your reality. Official channel says, why does it take 40 to 50 years if everything is here and now? Okay, go ahead. Do it yourself. Do it right now. Then again, of course, your mind's already telling you you can't. That's why it takes 40 to 50 years, because you have to unwind the mind. And since you are living in a third density with the dimension of time, then time is added in and you're going to experience the evolution through time. If it was instant without time, then it's not human. It's something else. Good question, though, official. But if you can do it on your own, rock on, kiddo. So, if there's any other questions. So, what you have to look at with God is an internal truth. It is very difficult. We understand through working with Roxanne and others in the dreams of others. Some of you out there dream of me. We've interconnected in many different ways. What we've understand through you guys is there is an insatiable appetite for externalism. Externalism is a dependency. The value of external validation, the value of external vibratory, external vibratory feedback. And there is absolutely no fucking trust in the I am. We have said it 1,000 times. CJ, I'll get to you in a sec. We've said it 1,000 times about you're enough, but you don't be enough. Unless you choose you're enough in the moment and then you evolve using the reference to official channel there, you have to do it through time. You have to take your time step by step. It's an evolution. We are ascending a journey. So in that, you must choose the worthiness over and over again so you can start feeling what you are by nature and not looking for that to validate this, that to validate this, that to validate this. That's human. You want to be God. How can anything be better than you? How can anything matter more than you? When you are the mattering of all that is, you create all that is. You, the individual, I'm talking to fucking you, create everything, including me, including Roxanne, including the computer. You are the one that creates the all. How the fuck can you tell me that you're not worthy of your own kingdom and your reliability is always externalized because your fear of retribution, consequences, reflection, rejection are just too great to know your goddamn worthiness? That is what ascension is. That's what evolution is. That's what enlightenment is, to do that work, to bring the God that lives externally through separation into the internal self and says, I am worth me. That's the feeling you must live, and that will bring back the God. CJ says, how do you stop the mind from chumming out worry and sadness? Take the classes, CJ. You can't stop it. Take the fucking classes. We wrote that. Or watch Roxy's channel, because all the information the classes have is on Roxy's channel. She's done 900 fucking videos, 10 years worth of work. Invest in yourself, CJ. Invest in yourself. But you have to work. But it doesn't have a payday. It doesn't have an outcome. It doesn't have a graduation. So it doesn't have the appetites that emotionally feel you as accomplished or identified. And that sucks for the human. Yes, it does, because it leaves this void, this vast emptiness. But that's where you come back to I am, law one, and you feel your own existence. And that in and of itself, you are blessed, because you are light, you are eternal, and you are being in that moment. How can that be any better than that? What can be any better than I am? Tell me, and I'll show you a fucking human. Your human thoughts being that. You don't stop the thoughts. You accept the thoughts. You transcend them through surrender. Read the story. There's one called surrender. There's one called externalism. Do the work, CJ. Start to become invested in yourself and say, I'm going to ascend this. I'm not going to live outside and look for that and get that and get that and do that and do that. And then I can gather it all around me and go at my deathbed. Look what I did, everybody. Look what I did. Do you love me? You don't need the external. Find the love for the self. Embrace the self and become the expression of the self. And then you will understand what it feels to be God. And then you can answer the questions. Do gods need? No. Do gods want? No. Do gods intend? No. Do we desire? No, we do not. We create. That's what we do. But you got to unwind this fucking mess up here. But you can't do it through hope or some mantra or some program that says if you spend this much money and do these things, you'll do it. Our way shows you exactly what you do to yourself every fucking day. And you're the one who has to change it. Only you, CJ, can change your behavior. You recognize it is the first thing. Transcend it, that's the change. The next is to understand the discernment between yourself, vibrational tactician, between the God self and the not God self, and learning to choose and develop your persona. And you can evolve that self into the fucking now and start to live. Hello, Alex. And start to live I am. And then you can understand the potential of what homo dominicus is. It's not you're going to leave and run off to another place, because you don't envy another place. We don't want to go to other places. We are here and now. That's where we love. We must love here because we're here. So you got to find the thing that says, I don't love, I'm here. You got to develop the says. And when you become that developed divine divinity, you got to develop the set of skills that allows that divinity to choose its truth in the moment and create its reality without the product of definition on what it is. It is internal. It is intimate. It is self-expressed, self-defined, self-interpreted. It relies on nothing because it creates everything that is its bubble. I suppose the emotions are rooted in love, not love. No. Understanding that maybe gives another perspective on them. It's not rooted in love. It's rooted in unconditional. Emotions are created. They are what is able to be manifested out of unconditional state of being called creation. That's how we get it all. We get it all through the idea of our own worthiness, our own truth. And we get that when you are vibrating. Look, people are going, if I say this, this, and this, and this will happen. And they're like, this is going back to CJ's fears. Oh, but my God, my thoughts are, what do I do? Okay, I'll just cower like a fucking pussy and I'll just be mediocre. Good. Then be human. You're allowed and no one's going to judge you because there's no one judging. There's no one in charge and no one gives a flying fuck what you do. Except you do. And that's why I'm attracted into your universe, to show you what you can change, what you do to yourself every fucking day. So you can also say, wow, that's a truth in me and I'm going to choose that. I know what my fears say. My God, it's scaring the fuck out of me, but I'm tired of being a fucking mediocre piece of shit to my own beliefs, the kick of my own ass. And it's all happening right between the fucking gray matter of my fucking temples. It's happening in my head. So let me have the courage. Let me have the fortitude. Let me forge in my heart my worthiness by acting that truth. And what happens when you put worthiness? Do you think if you put worthiness, your worth, into the vibrational vortex, you would attract a fucking consequence? If you think you would attract the consequence and you're putting your worthiness in, you don't know the first thing about what you put out is what you get back. You're still working on what you put out and what you get back in this dualistic mind. Look around you. You guys been doing fucking positive meditations for 15, 20 years. Actually, back since 87, the convergence, you've been doing all of these earthly fucking positive things. Great work, guys. Look like it's really kicking some ass. Whoa. You don't ascend in species through intention. You don't ascend in species through one half of polarity. Then you invite the other half. First act of defense, first act of war is defense. That's a human. Mature yourself, masters. Mature yourself. Swallow your big, fat fucking pride and say, oh my God, it's me. And those emotional states of consciousness that I created as my human experience are also my demise. I'm ready to evolve the human and mature myself back into God. That's what it takes to ascend a species. It takes an individual to ascend a species, not a blanket idea brought by one for pride or prejudice of separation, of structures. Do this and you'll be better. Do that and you'll be better. Are you fucking kidding me? We're moving forward. Next is Dominicus. 4 schools. We'll write them. Roxanne will write the curriculum. She'll live them so she knows them, so she can teach them. So if you guys want to get on board, we'll see you in class. What is the true purpose of the act of sex? Are you a fucking idiot, official? What is the true purpose of the act of sex? It's like saying, what is the true purpose of eating? What is the true purpose of breathing? It's an experience, Nimrod. Stop being a fucking idiot. You're better than that. You've been watching this channel for 6 fucking years that I know, and you're still acting childish. What's the act of sex? Oh my fucking God. Wait a minute. What's the act of talking? I'm going to fuck you up on this one. I'm going to let you get mad. I'm going to get pissed. Get pissed at me so you can recognize your own bullshit. a belief system. What's the true act of sex? There is no true act of sex. Whatever you say is the truth of the act of sex is individual. It's not a blanket idea. I just said that 2 seconds ago. Fucking listen. Get your head out of your ass, official, and wake the fuck up. All right. Until next time, we'll see you in class when you guys are ready. Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for tuning into Sly. He was on fire. And official, that was a kind of a human question there. There is no purpose in anything, Master. Life in and of itself is the only purpose. Experience in and of itself is the only purpose. If you take your mind, your fat ego, and you define it down to a purpose of one idea and you pinpoint that, look at all the beauty around you you're missing because you're obsessed with an idea of gratitude, of transient knowledge, of understanding that is lodged in the brain of some kind of intelligence or knowledge-based stacking of knowledge that makes you somehow better. Anyways, 18 joins us tonight. 7 thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Anything else I can do for you? You guys let me know. You know how to get hold of me. I'm assuming I got classes going on right now for the next 4 months. During these next 4 months, I will be writing the curriculum for these next 4 schools. And if you haven't joined the first schools, we're going to start them again next year. It'll be on my website. And then we will roll out the homo dominicus schools, which will be coupled with these next schools. Or be the next part of the first 4 schools we've done. All right, everyone. I thank you all truly for tuning in. If you like, subscribe, click the thumbs up. Of course, on my website, if there's any donations you would like to do, go to my website and donate. And of course, you can contact me at the website. Just contact me. My email's right there and say hello, and I'll get back with you. Thanks all for tuning in once again. Go and find you. You're worth it. I swear to you. Let go of those external lusts, needs, and wants, and desires of identity. Find the worthiness within and express that wonderful God that you've always been. You deserve it. I love you all. Take care.